Actually, family relationships or family dynamics is an area of therapy that many therapists fear to tread. If you think about how complicated the relationship between two people can get, you can imagine that once you add a third, fourth, or fifth person, things can start to get complicated very fast. You also have to contend with the fact that unlike couples therapy, the roles and power of the people in a family unit is much more diverse. Two adults in a relationship with each other may never have a truly equal relationship, but it's far more equal in terms of power than a mother and daughter, for example. That's the main reason I use this Every Family is a Kingdom exercise, because it helps to provide a frame for all the members of the family to insert themselves. The idea is to provide an imaginative outlet for family members that lets them describe their own family dynamics without it being too real. We want to use a little bit of fantasy as a tool to let people express their roles without judgment or fear. The kingdom metaphor provides members of the family with all sorts of roles to identify with, and it's something that most people will intuitively understand. It's especially useful for younger children who are much more likely to be part of an exercise such as this. The reason for this is simply that in Western culture, even young children have been exposed to ideas of good and bad through fairy tales. And that is, after all, why they exist in the first place, as a way to transfer values to children. I found that most of the time younger family members have no problem telling us in this exercise whether they see their kings and queens as benevolent or something less than good. A kingdom and a family are also more similar than you may at first think. It's unlikely that you'll find a family that operates on a principle of democracy. For the most part, there's usually one authority figure that has the final say in something. This may not always be the same person, but not everyone has an equal vote in this kingdom. Now, that's not to say that there's anything wrong with that. After all, parents who let their young children vote on things that really are important to the welfare of the family unit may run the risk of being misguided. If you are going to have a dictatorship or a monarchy, as the case may be, then it can be benevolent or malevolent. It can be functional or dysfunctional. This exercise lets me as a therapist build a great picture of the real situation and gives me a starting point to begin addressing relationship issues between different members of the family. And of course, this insight is not only for my benefit as a therapist, it's also a great way for the family members to see how they fit in and how everyone else experiences family life. I see a lot of revelations where family members are genuinely surprised at how they're seen by other members of their family. This is also a great exercise since people who fill in the questions can also be encouraged to illustrate them. I especially like to encourage the younger ones to do this, since many of them may not be very comfortable writing. A picture may very well be worth 1,000 words when it comes to the expression of children. However, the invitation to express answers to the questions in more than just words should not only be limited to younger clients. In a face-to-face therapy setting, it's also very useful to hear clients explain their answers so that we can dig deeper into what they meant in answering the questionnaire. The other part of the exercise, where family members draw their own coat of arms, is an interesting exercise and a tool with many uses. I've included a downloadable template for you to design your own coat of arms in the resources section of this lecture. One way that I use this exercise is to show how different members of the family see it. And in that way, it's like an extension of the previous kingdom exercise, except that the answers are now completely visual. Having each person explain the images in their coat of arms and what they mean to them gives everyone in the therapeutic process a deep impression of what each person's experiences are. It's actually quite useful to have family members do the coat of arms at different points in their therapy to see if things are changing. Another way to apply this exercise, usually near the end of therapy, is to have everyone collaborate on a single coat of arms. Not only does this provide an opportunity to do something together, it'll also show up any lingering issues or points of disagreement. In a diverse society, it's very possible to encounter people for whom the allegory of the kingdom may not make as much sense. So sometimes I have to tweak the metaphors just a little bit to fit. The kingdom may become another sort of rulership, and the coat of arms may become a banner or even a tapestry. It really does depend on the background of the people in question.